Netflix on the screen, healthcare in between, physics, art, and math got us down this path. Historical tales come alive, where science and stories dive, blended facts with heart, knowledge from the start. Need bridge blues we sing to the future memory. Health and science in the mix, Midbridge got the fix. Complex subjects make
right
clear
now
every episode
in ways that we actually acquire knowledge
leads the way,
and ways that make me more efficient.
in the world of digital streams, turning knowledge into dreams. Through the tales of old, new stories unfold.
Thank you so much for joining with me. It is a truly an honor and a privilege.
MedBits Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges. Hey, welcome to the MedBits Webcast. This is Ramana. I'm not in a usual place, but we used to. I was traveling on the East Coast, brutal cold, and I got sick a little bit. Jesus, I used to live there, and now I'm usually for California weather. Is a different world itself, So bear with me a little bit. I'm not 100% of myself, but this program is so important to me. So this is you're talking about my father and people from my hometown, unsung heroes of medicine. I'm going to talk about that. So Cristina is joining. Cristina is a mental therapist. She was one of my first guests. Very close friend. I know her. I know her fiance very well. We are close friends. I stayed with the Connecticut. She was a counselor in New York City. And what an articulate woman. She's one of my first week guests. Nobody wanted to come at the time, so I used to book her quite a bit, and she was really helpful. Take this podcast to the next level as a guest. Thank you, Cristina. She's on the way. She has some emergency came in with her fiance, and she's going to join in a few minutes. A little bit. In a few minutes she's going to join, but I'm going to talk about another thing. I want to talk about that is my daughter. She has a happy birthday to my daughter. I'm going to show you some pictures of her. Let me my daughter is a she's a mix. That is my daughter. They call me ditto of me, but she is a lot more fiery than me. She is combative, fiery. She is fight. So she used to, Dad. She was like a 10 years old or 11 years old. She got my phone. She knows how to order online from Africa, all the jewelry or whatever country it is. We don't know Vietnam. She used to order Dad, do you know that today I saved you $100? What is that, sweetheart? I bought this necklace. It cost about $600 in Vietnam. In Macy's, it cost you only $100. when you see that once it arrives, it's a crap from from other country. It's a big scam. So it is very funny. She was a shopping alcoholic. So she is feisty, smart, and she got married last year, and she lives happily, and her husband is a wonderful guy. So she is really, she's my soul, my so sometimes I live for her, and I feel that um we are it is a to have a daughter, it gives you a different perspective than a voice. I have a son, but having a daughter is a different perspective. I could not have learned life without them. Is a different issue, different way. You learn the perspective a different way. So she used to be mix of Condoleezza Rice. She was a young when she was in fifth grade. She used to dress like for the shows, talent show and tell, I think. Sorry. Um, she used to do the Condoleezza Rice, and then on the opposite other way around, she can act like sorry. Um, um, Condoleezza Rice or Kamala Harris. She could be go both ways, but Republican or Democrat, both. She could act like that. So thank you. She is a pride of our family. We all love her. Her husband is wonderful. Thank you to have a blessed daughter like that. Thank you so much, guys. But anyway, let us go back to the Christina. I think she is going to join in few minutes, but I'm going to start my program. I'm going to present about the how did they deliver. I'm a son of a teacher, a doctor, an extraordinary man. My father. I'm going to talk about my father and a person from my hometown, very well known, unknown famous man. I want to tell you that. Very interesting combination. And then two extraordinary women from India. How they, how did they deliver healthcare during those 60s and 70s? So sorry about that. I'm extremely sorry. This is cold. Is so anyway, because I committed to this one. So these are the four people. They're unsung heroes of medicine. You need them, and actually, I'm going to tell you. Let me talk about my village first. Okay, my village is I was born in a very 2,000 people population there, very small village. Uh, so rice fields all over is a very picturesque place. Rice fields, palm trees. We are 11 miles from the sea coast of Bay of Bengal. Um, so it's not that far from the sea. We have a tropical kind of a weather, and my home is, you see that is similar to that kind of home, very maybe smaller. That is a home in my village. There's no electricity, no running water. you know there is no electricity, so we have to study with the lamps. Probably I'm the last person from India, one of the last few people in India studied under the kerosene lamp. And transportation was, you're thinking I was born in the last century. It's not. This village is like a 50 years behind even India. So that's the problem. That's a strange thing. Transportation is a bullock carts, like a wagons you see in the 1800s here in the United States. So that is the transportation. I used to go with my mother, and ladies from the town go to see a movie. I used to go with her. I'm the only boy. I could bring them water or other things. So they used to take me to the movies in that bullock cart. So there's a wagon. Interesting transportation. It takes 3 miles. It takes half a day to go there. It is agriculture based economy. They do mostly rice fields. They grow rice, and then we don't have any influence from United States. America, we don't know America at that time. Only Russia. We know everything about Russia because Russian tractors are there in my village. So We have a Czechoslovakian people, and all those people will be there. Used to come pass by our town. So it's agriculture-based economy, and Russia had a large influence. You know how in 50 years they changed it to American. Now they're very close to United States. I will be surprised, right? It's a big change. So what is the healthcare is a non-existent. There is no hospital, there is no clinic even. There's no doctors. So my father is an English teacher. He was teaching English, but the how did sorry, before I go to my father and talk about how do they deliver babies. I was born at home. All my brothers were born at home through midwives. These midwives are not even trained. They're moms that have experience. Sometimes we had experience in midwife, trained midwife, but mostly the mothers that I experienced, mothers come down and deliver the babies. So it is a very interesting phenomena. Why we needed such a complex things. Actually, birth is a very natural thing. The American healthcare system sometimes made it more complex than required. So C-sections became a normal here. That it creates a problem. There's a lot of they're talking about my microbiomes and all those things is a natural thing. Let it, that is not there yet. So the same suspects of the diseases are same suspects everywhere at the time. Typhus is a bacterial infection. Malaria is parasite is cholera is a very common at the time. Is a big problem in those areas. Eosinophilia, lung disease, and all those things. So malaria is, of course, is a very common. Mosquitoes all over the place. So India, that was a big problem. And another problem we used to have in my village is the cobra bites. A lot of people used to die with the cobra bites. We have a snake charmers. Once in a while, there's a tetanus. I had a friend who died with a tetanus poisoning. I remember when I was in 5th grade or 6th grade. Then suicide is extremely, extremely rare. I mean, I never heard in 21 person try to commit suicide. They used to take that pesticide, endrin is called. So cobra bites are very common there. There's no people die. There's no at the time we don't have any access to any other poisoning there. My father is a teacher. There's no doctors there in the town. So what he did was he can read English. So he was a vivacious reader, my father. So he was reading non-stop medical journals. He trained himself. And my grandfather, brother, used to practice like 10 miles away from my hometown. My father used to go in a bike, take me once in a while with him to go to that town. Is 10 miles away from my village. Go on a bike and then learn medicine from him. He used to do externship every weekend. Their kind of externship kind of program he used to do. It's amazing how much curious he was. With the least amount of resources, he doesn't have any resources. He was a teacher, poor teacher, 6 kids, and with the minimum salary, and that what he was doing. He was also doing a tuitions to add some kind of a to add to the revenues. He used to teach tutoring. That's what I used to do. But I'll tell you in a minute. So villages, you go to the people's home and deliver the care. Delivery at the point of care service is nothing new. This is a very, very common thing for the doctors to go to the person and deliver the care is extremely common there. Yeah. So I used to go with him sometimes. They go to small villages, small huts. Used to go there. India was at the time very, very poverty stricken. It's not don't have too many people there. So it's a very interesting. How do they deliver care? It's at the diagnosis and treatment and prognosis are delivered at the patient's home. Sometimes they used to come to our house and they get the treatment. My father used to give a only injections he had is a penicillin and some kind of aspirin or band-aids. That's all at that time. We don't have a lot of available resources. So you go to the how do they get paid? That's interesting. And somebody asks me about that. Dr. Bill Frisch asking me. I'm interested in Senator Bill Frisch said that I want to know how they deliver healthcare in rural India. This is the way they deliver. It's like United States. A long time ago, they used to give chicken and eggs. We are vegetarians, so they give a lot of vegetables. And we do a twice a year during the crop, uh, you know, uh, a ceremony, a puja, a Hindu religious function. Muslim doctors do the Muslim function. During the time, they uh, they come down. Um, I think Cristina joined. I think I don't. Yeah. Oh, Cristina, are you joining?
I'm trying to get on. I'm trying desperately to get on.
Okay, 1 second. I'm going to send you another link. It's easier to join that way. Let me send you another link, okay? I'll send you in the LinkedIn. Oh, sorry, email, okay? She's having a hard time. Yeah, this is a kind of a new thing that is everybody. I don't know what is happening with it. You know that you have to follow certain. It's a little tricky that you have to join. You have to create an account, LinkedIn in the LinkedIn. You have to join the LinkedIn. That's a you're going to your account, not my account. That's why you need to come down there. Let me give you. But I am on the. I am on the. Let me send you another link. Sorry about that, guys. She's having a hard time.
I'm trying the link you sent me, and I'm seeing if it's letting me come on now because it was citing me. So I'm trying it now to see if I can get on. Let me try this.
Yeah. So
Are you on? I'm sorry. It's been such an insane day.
yeah, I know. That's I understand. I'm not complaining about it. Okay, let me.
It's logging in.
Sorry.
I'm doing okay. Join stream.
Yeah.
Okay, should be coming on.
Okay. Good.
Feel free. Allow.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I see you. Okay, bye. I see you.
Sorry.
Yeah. Let me finish. My son is also there. He's going to join with us. Come on, camera, Rameshlu. Yeah. Yeah. So the reimbursements in Indian. I'm talking about India. So I will break. I'll take a break and then I'll introduce you, the Christina. Reimbursements in India was they do a ceremony, special ceremony called puja. It's a Hindu ceremony. Some people give cash, some people give gold, silver, all kinds of things we used to get. So it is a fee is based on a scaling economy, a sliding scale. That is what we used to do. So let me finish this one, and then I will introduce you, my Christina. So take it easy, Christina. I will introduce you and give me a minute. So my father is a extraordinary. He's a doctor, teacher, bicycle. He was a dedicated doctor. I mean, I never seen a person like that. My son joined. Actually, he understands it. Is my he, he is a vivacious reader. My father. I got the same thing. He was reading books and putting a lot of money in the books. My mother used to get mad with the little income. He used to put a lot of money without any resources. Think about that. It's not a lot of Pell Grants, no Pell Grants, nothing. So it's really extraordinary dedication that you have to have. So my father is a insured generations of he was a doctor there. He was a doctor, teacher. He was teaching in high school. He was providing a medicine, medical care for people in that village. And then he inspired when he was doing a tuitions. I told you in the nighttime, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, the village people, the kids come down and learn from him English and other things, particularly English. He used to teach. So the same time they saw him studying so many medical books, they were inspired. He inspired a generation of doctors from my village. In fact, one of my doctor is that he built that hospital in that village where there is a non-existent in healthcare. That is a building now. One of my father's student, he built that my village in Bhimavaram. It's called Bhimavaram. I'm so proud. It's an extraordinary. My father inspired simple people from villages, and we made them. They are all over the world. Some people went different parts of the world, England, United States, all of them. My father inspired it. He's a teacher, doctor. My father died, but is a teacher, doctor extraordinaire. Is a nothing. I have, I pay tribute to him always. So there is another lady that I want to talk about from India. I don't know. She recently died. She lived almost 98, 100 years old. She died recently. She delivered 30,000 babies. Can you believe that? They were untouchables. I don't know whether you know the concept of untouchable in India existed for a long time. Even when I was growing up, I remember that, it's still existing at the time. Untouchable means there are people who are segregated. They are not supposed to touch. If you touch them, uh, they are sin, you know, religious sin. It's they used to say. So nobody touches them. Nobody they don't have doctors. They don't have anybody to deliver babies. This woman from southern India, state of Karnataka, near Bangalore, delivered so many babies, untouchables. She went through. She is untouchable herself, and then that was banned now in the India. That was you cannot practice that kind of untouchable concept. But that was a practice. She delivered more than 30,000 babies, helped a lot of people in those villages, trained other nurses. Extraordinary woman. She did that single-handedly. Saved India. Today, if you see some people from India, programmers or doctors, they may be related to. They may be given a birth by her. There is a native Africans. There is a story I don't know about it, but the native Africans in India, there were a section of Indians. The Africans came to the. They're on the way to some place. I'm not sure, but they were stuck. Their ship was broken. They settled in India. So there are a lot of Africans there. They still practice. um, they're called Siddhis in India. They practice in the state of Karnataka and the southern part of Kerala. They are existing. So they have the. So she was this woman delivering babies for them. You know, for them also. Nobody now they are integrated into Indian system. They follow all the Indian cultures and traditions now. They're all mixed now. You cannot tell. 15,000 babies. Sorry, 30,000 babies. I said that she was particularly for nomads like those Africans in India. She was delivering babies. They're nomads, untouchables, and she did that. Yeah. So she did that. So I'm going to come back to Christina and Ramesh in a minute. Let me finish this program and then I'll come back. Okay. So I don't want to in the middle. Then I will talk with Christina. Then we have a lot of time to talk with her and Ramesh also. So this she recently died in November 2018. Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, gave a tribute to her, a civilian highest honor. You give a Padma Shri award. She won the civilian award, Padma Shri. There is another woman. She has a short life. She was born in 18. This is the first medical MD, foreign medical graduate from United States. From United States, she came from Pune, India. Her name is Anand Joshi. She came to. She was a 20 years old. She came down to the United States with the missionaries. She practiced Ayurveda and then she learned American system. She wrote pregnancy. Her thesis was a pregnancy for a Hindu woman. As the importance of the obstetrics can be measured only by the value of life and health, and both being a paramount consequence, it is deserving of a most careful study. You cannot just introduce things to That is a nose ring that wear at the time. Don't get anything special disease. That's just a tradition of India. When she came to Washington D.C., she was a spectacle, in Washington D.C. In 1885. She was here. And she studied at first women's college in Pennsylvania. That is now Drexel campus. She defended the Ayurveda, and she said that we need to be careful about criticizing before Eastern medicine. So actually, she died at the age of 25. And then there are two people who wrote about extensively about her. Caroline Dahl, she's a socialite from Washington D.C. She wrote a biography of Ananda Joshi. Then recently, Professor Sarah Ross Kapit, she wrote a thesis on the Hindu woman in the Women's College of Pennsylvania, first Women's College of Pennsylvania. So she went back to India to practice. Then shortly after that, she was stuck with tuberculosis and she died. So sorry about this. But I'm going to tell you another man from my village, my hometown. His name is Dr. Subbarao, unknown famous man. How famous he is, how unfortunate situations he faced, discrimination. Let me tell you what he did. He did a first chemotherapy drug, first broad spectrum antibiotic, first tip test, first topical drug, World Health Organization essential list. He is from my Bhimvaram, my town, where I grew up, where same area, we go to temple, same time. But way before, he is way before even my father. 1948 he died, so he's way before. But he's from our town. He did all these things. Nobody knows. Do you know? No. Even Indian doctors don't know about him. His name is Dr. Yellaprakada Subbarao. He was born in January 12th, 1895. He was a very interesting guy. My hometown, that is called Somaramam, is one of the Lord Shiva's temples. 5 temples in India is the home of Lord Shiva. My town is one of them. 5 temples is Somaramam, though they changed it to Bhimavaram. That's where I went to college actually. So it's a village, it's a town, small town. So he was born there, very religious family, Brahmin family. He failed high school 3 times. 3 times he failed high school. Got married at the age of 15. His father-in-law was worried about his future. What he did was, okay, this boy is going to be trouble for my daughter. So he sent him to medical school in Chennai. At the time, our capital town is Chennai, is the capital city of Andhra and the all southern states. Chennai was the capital. Madras, they call. Queen Victoria was our queen. We don't have independence, So Gandhi was just started his movement up there, very new to the our chief administrator is Queen Elizabeth. So sorry about that. I'm extremely sorry, but I want to finish this one. It's very interesting. Ayurveda college, he finished a medical degree, MBBS is called. It's a regular allopathic medicine degree. Then he started teaching biochemistry in the Ayurveda college. Then he applied in a strike of a coincidence. He applied to Harvard Medical School in 1923. There were no people coming from that place. Harvard. Everybody is going to England for study. Nobody wants to come to the United States. They don't even know what the United States is in my town. But he was kind of exposed. He interacted with a lot of Christian missionaries in Chennai, and then he decided to apply for Harvard Medical School. He was admitted he got admitted. He became very good. He not only good, he was just a shining in Harvard Medical School. He finished a PhD. He got the tropical medicine degree. He was then he was a staff member. He became a staff member in Harvard, but they did not give him a tenure. He was, because his color, he was not given a tenure there. He was totally discriminated. He has a lot of inventions. They were stolen. It is actually reported. Harvard admitted that they stolen papers there, denied tenure. He was very upset, and then he moved. Then there is another gentleman from then is Latterly Labs. That's a lab, the medical pharmaceutical company from New Jersey, New York, Pearl River, New York. Cristina may know this place. Hired him as a director because his inventions are coming out of everywhere. So he became a director for the Latterly Labs, small lab compared to other big companies at the time. Johnson is huge. Latterly Labs is a small boutique outfit. He joined as a medical director. Then he started inventing. You won't believe what kind of inventions he did. This man. First invention. This is a phosphorus. It is a phosphorus strip test. It is not available. Phosphorus strip test. He created a phosphorus because in the body, people with the diabetes, alcoholics, they have our biggest mineral in our body is a calcium. Next mineral is a phosphorus. So I'm going to bring all of them to the table. I hope they can listen to it. I hope. Yeah, let me see. Okay. My son, everybody joined now. They can comment on anything you want to do. So, Christina joined there.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry I'm late. It's good to
That's
see
okay.
you.
Yeah, let me finish this and then I will talk with you and my son, Ramesh. Ramesh, come on camera.
I
So,
can't join on camera, but I tune
okay.
in and speak a little bit.
So, his invention is a phosphorus strip test he invented first for. Then, that itself is a very prominent, that's a very important one. Then, it's not, he discovered a tablet called, it's called Hetazine tablets. Is a eosinophilic lungs, river blindness, coronavirus. Even they are using for coronavirus now. They're testing for Zika virus, influenza virus. This is a viral drug. It was Hetazine tablets. He discovered this is still part of the essential drugs in the World Health Organization. This drug. He discovered this drug. He invented this drug. That's invention 2. Invention 3, mother of all the inventions. In 1940s, child leukemia is a you need targeted drug therapy because the blood is diffused across the body. Blood cancer is common leukemia. How do you treat that? So he came up. He invented. He gave it to Sidney Farber. There's a guy. He took all the credit, but methotrexate was invented by. He came up with the Dr. Yellapalli Subbarao. Came up with the child leukemia in 1940s. He saved the United States children's leukemia. In my view, that itself one invention can deserve a Nobel Prize. So that is the mother of all inventions. Then tops of all that, he came back with he joined another southerner from from where I used to live in Atlanta. Now there's a guy in LaGrange, is the southern border of Georgia and Florida, Alabama. Benjamin Dugar, a southern guy. Um, at the time, southern people were discriminated in the north. So Dr. Subbarao hired him, and then he had the idea of creating a broad spectrum antibiotic. So they want to do clinical trials. They found some grass from Missouri or something. He bought it there, and then they want to test it. Nobody wants to give these two southern guys. One guy is from southern India, other guy is from southern Alabama. they don't get have a zero chances in any clinical trials in any place, major institution. So they went to Bronx Hospital, where Christina practices in that area. Louis Wright was a surgeon, flight surgeon. He was a flight surgeon. He was very well known. Louis Wright was a very well known. His daughter is also a doctor right now. So he gave the opportunity to test this antibodies, the first broad spectrum antibiotic. It was a major runaway hit. It cured all the syphilis, all the viral sexual diseases. It just like a magic, like it worked. Automycin is the drug called automycin. That is the inventor of Dr. Subbarao, Yellapagada Subbarao from my hometown. He is an amazing man. He invented all these things. He did not get the credit. You know, then automycin is drug that I told you that he invented. That small lab became a very rich, and then they acquired by, as usual, by Pfizer. Pfizer acquired him, and they put a bust on him. Right now, there is a statue of him. He deserves 4 Nobel Prizes. None he got. This is one of the black mark on the Nobel Committee. Not even one prize they gave it to him. Is a totally discriminated. This is a prime example of what a man who contributed to this so much science, so much curing diseases. So in my hometown, they're building around a college on his name. I'm glad I'm going to talk with him once that is done. His name is right after the drug automycin. He died in the sleep at the age of 53 with a heart attack. I don't know. He died with a heart attack, or I'm sometimes I get question mark. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there's a lot of you know. So anyway, he died at the age of 53 in his sleep. He's an extraordinary man. His name is Yellapagada Subbarao, same name as my father actually, Subbarao. My father's name is Annamrao Subbarao. Yellapagada Subbarao, same name, from same town. We don't know. It's way long before he died. After 1 year after independence, he died. Actually, the New York Herald Tribune gave him one of the most eminent medical minds of the century. It said that New York Herald Tribune gave him one of the most eminent medical minds of the century. No doubt in my mind, with the given resources he has. Jewish advocates said that because he lived, you live longer. What a beautiful statement that is. You cannot beat that. So the Pfizer literally labs honored him, in a certain way. He still, but he didn't get that much credit. That they have a bust of Yellapagada Subbarao in the Pfizer lab. Pfizer acquired the literally labs. Now he's under Pfizer. They should do more. There are a lot of people are writing books on him right now. On a personal note, both have the same name, came from same town, and both helped people, both Ms. Subaraos and two other people also. I'm not taking away anything from them. My father had a nothing. He provided care for people who had a nothing in a small southern village in India. My father Subbarao helped my village, and other Subbarao, Dr. Subbarao, helped the world. Stories of those two women in is a heart touching. People come and go, but the nobility of these people who so silently create and shape a better tomorrow for all of humanity, and remind the noble profession of medicine. Thank you for watching. Let me bring. Thank you for watching. I created a T-shirt. My son has the T-shirt actually. Let me bring these guys into the. Yes, Cristina. So thank you for coming in. Let me talk with you. How is Steve doing now? Is he okay?
Oh, he's doing much better. Thank you so much. Sorry, I didn't
Steve,
mean to echo. Yeah, so unfortunately, a dear friend of mine who Ramana also knows. He'd had a biopsy and he was having some complications. So I basically spent the day in the ER. We just got back from the hospital, so that's why I'm late. I'm so sorry for being late. But thank you, Ramana, for this amazing story of these amazing people who contributed so much to our life, to our world, to help those less fortunate. You know, I truly believe that people make the mistake of they think that people who have the money and the power that they're so important, but these people are the ones who make a difference, and these
Yeah.
are the people whose lives live on forever in the people they have touched and helped.
Oh, sure, no question about it. That in my view, that let me ask you a question. Let me bring my son also there on the side. Okay, so Christina, what is going on in? Let me ask you about mental health. When people go
Mhm,
through this kind of a diagnosis, this kind of a very fatal disease, is somebody diagnosed with anything
mhm.
cancer, what mental health they go through? To tell me the journey, how do you face that major life and death situation somebody present to you?
Well, I think in many ways it's about actually appreciating life even more.
Yeah.
You know, when you have like a very serious illness like cancer or something else, it makes it kind of brings to the forefront what really matters in your life. We spend so much time in our lives worrying about nonsense, worrying about things that, in a way, if we actually thought, if my time on earth was limited, what
Yeah.
would I do with it? And we think about it, we all have limited time here in the current life. We just don't know what that time will be. And so for people who have very serious illness, it's about making the most of the time they have, not having regrets. Obviously, there's going to be moments of depression and anxiety and just sadness. But I also have been amazed by people who have gone through major health things who also find this incredible inner strength and appreciation for every moment of their life.
What strength you said that, where do you get that? How do you draw that? Can you create that, or is it inherent to some people's culture, or you can be trained for inner strength?
I think all of us have it within us to access that, but the problem is it's like I think when we've been hurt in life or maybe when society has given us a lot of negative messaging, it's sort of like when it's winter you put a lot of layers on that cover you up. I think we get covered with a lot of layers of cynicism and anger and disappointment, and when you kind of can start removing those layers, and that's what I do as a therapist. I help people delayer from all that negativity, delayer from all that negative messaging so that they can get back to the true essence of who they are, who they were when they came into this world before life got on them and filled them with all this nonsense.
Some people keep that anger for a long time towards
Oh,
husbands,
yeah.
towards wives, to his
Oh,
mothers,
yeah.
to
Absolutely.
their friends. How do they, and then they justify it, and they must be eaten by something else, right? It
Oh,
is
yeah.
something inner thing is killing them, and they want to manifest into different ways. Tell us, people who go through this kind of anger issues, what do you?
I mean, a big part of how I help people deal with the anger issues, we talk about where the anger is coming from, because there's always an origin to the anger. There's always some seed that planted and kind of created the anger. So the idea is anger is very poisonous to your mind, to your body, to your spirit. So the idea is it's understandable to get angry when injustice has happened or when your life hasn't gone the way you thought it would, but you don't want to hold on and let the anger eat you up. So we talk about where it came from and then ways to kind of calm it down and find things to actually be appreciative. I remember working with a young girl when I started as a therapist. She was one of my first clients. I was working with kids at the time. It's like about 12, 13, and so much anger, so much distrust because she'd been very badly abused. And then as I worked with her and she saw me as someone she could trust, and I gave her a safe space for her heart and for this beautiful soul that was in there, I saw her blossom. I saw that anger start to melt away, and I saw the beautiful person she was inside had these terrible things not happen to her that she always wanted to be. And she said the line to me, which I have kept with me all these years. She said, "Thank you for seeing the good kid inside me when no one else could."
That's what I want to do. Today, the last week, a gentleman, a CEO of a company, Giles Platford, in a company CEO, put this: I want to be illuminator of all good things people do, not the diminisher. It's what are the negative things you want to find out, complain on.
Mhm.
So I always wanted to eliminate things that do. It's million things to pick up bad things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One thing that we can always appreciate good things, that is, you can always find people complain all the times, just it's eating them away, that's
Mhm.
yeah. So I also changed myself about that, it's a very,
Mhm.
I wanted to appreciate what I have, what they don't,
Mhm.
stuff. you know United Healthcare CEO was killed. That anger,
Mm.
it was an accident. It was done in New York. The guy
Mhm.
was, when he killed, it was a violence, the utmost violence, nobody condone. But but there's a lot of people, emojis are all happy, emojis came all over the world, all over the country. People are happy. That's a very strange kind of reaction. What is the psychic of the United States in that process?
There's so much anger right now, and it's very disturbing, both as a therapist and a human being who
Yeah.
has just, I feel people's anger, and it's because it doesn't have to be like that. And when you feed that anger and you let it get into you and cycle, you lose a bit of your humanity and your empathy and your compassion. And really, we can't control what happens to us. We can't control the bad experiences we've had, people who've hurt us, or illnesses we've suffered. The only thing we truly can control is how we respond to situations. And if we can still find love in our hearts, caring, compassion, empathy for others, in spite of our difficulties, that is the true mission of humanity. I think of our soul's purpose in this world is to hold true to our love and compassion even in the midst of terrible, horrible experiences.
Some people, with my son, let me hear him comment on the, in the anger they turn into music, as a
Mhm.
therapy kind of thing.
Mhm.
So a lot of rap musicians are angry people. They turn their anger into musical geniuses became.
Mhm.
Ramesh, do you have some comment on that, Ramesh?
Yeah. So in well, as a sidebar, actually, I am wearing one of your shirts right now. I had to interject this.
So put in the camera.
I, I'm not stationary right now. Fortunately, I would, but I can't. Anyway, so with music, there's a lot of correlation between music and emotions, but
Mhm.
it's parts of the brain it actually activates. Whether you're listening to it or making it, it's actually activating
Mhm.
different parts. And
Mhm.
I think that aside from things like rhythm and harmony, actually being able to express um, express your feelings and putting them into words on a page,
Mhm. Mhm.
regardless of how good the song is actually helping you process the emotions itself. No,
Yes, I agree. I agree. I think music and poetry, I have a lot of clients who do journal writing, and I'm a writer as well. It's a wonderful way to process feelings and emotions, and music is a wonderful conduit for that.
100%, 100%, because it also allows you, depending on how you do your creative writing, it allows you to look at things from a different perspective or try to
Yes.
narrative in itself. So a lot of times when you just you know problems down and put it into song form, poetry form, even just
Yes.
your
Ramesh, Ramesh,
and
you had a neuroscience degree. Tell me about it, a little bit about how you this helped you to write the music and helped you to write, discover your own roots and everything. Okay, just briefly before let Christina come and answer the questions.
yeah, absolutely. So with music, music has always been a way for since the beginning of music, which is probably the beginning of people. Music has always been a way to information from one group to another, but it's also
Mm.
a way to share the stories, whether it's of pain, whether it's of methodologies, whether it's of gratitude through music. And so I think one of the biggest instances is the Gullah Geechee people, who basically the emancipated slaves who in America who basically stayed kind of in um, the areas where they were brought into. They didn't have access to instruments, but what they had access to were random things like you know um, like I forgot what they're called, the things that people used to wash clothes on, but different non-instrument things like that they were able to make music on. But if you know,
Mm.
most of the songs are about faith, they're about strength, they're about God, and a lot of that is how the people were able to process the pain they were going through. And fast forward, that music evolved into gospel music, and which
Mhm.
evolved into blues, rock, and you see how the emotion and the soul and the way that emotion has been consistent through all these different types of art forms. It's always been a way to process.
That
What is the
is
role
so
of a music in
beautiful.
this whole therapy side of it? Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, yes, there's actually a field in psychology, music therapy. It actually is a
Yeah.
field where you use music therapeutically to help people dealing with various emotional and mental health issues. And it's incredibly potent. They've also used it helping people who've had traumatic brain injury. I mean, just the applications of music. And I liked the way Ramesh you spoke of how the music was used to help people process their atrocities. I mean, when you go through really horrible things, how do you process that? And music can be an incredibly beautiful way to do that. Some of the greatest musicians have had some pretty tragic lives or had really difficult things happen to them, and they processed it through their music.
Yeah,
I'm very glad that you actually mentioned music therapy. I actually recently, I think, yeah, last week I joined the Society for Music Perception and Cognition, and
Oh,
yeah, that organization has a lot of music therapy or organization in it as well. And I've just been doing a lot of reading on it. But yeah, I mean, it's a very legitimate and very scientifically proven way of helping people process emotion and keep the brain stimulated in important regions.
I completely agree with you. The evidence is definitely there for the power of music to heal. It really is. It's so healing. And I would love to learn more about the society. If your dad has my email and contact
yeah,
info, if you could send me info on the society, I'd really be interested in checking it out.
yeah. You need to. You both of you should connect with each other. Is yeah. You should. I'll send you email, Ramesh. I think Christina, you are one of the treasure. In the beginning days of my career of this podcast, you I don't have any guess. You always jumped up on the. Today, it is a more respect I have. Such an emergency to my other friend, your close friend, Steve,
Thank you.
on the from the emergency room, coming down there straight from it there with all kinds of thought process thoughts and joined. It is you know it is it is a sorry to hear that, but I tell you, you're lucky to they're lucky to have you. He's lucky to
Thank
have you
you.
because
Oh, thank
you
you.
he is lucky to have you. Ramesh, you need to put a mute on your. because it's getting a lot of. Yeah, that's okay. It's lucky to have you because it is blessing for a person like you to be around, particularly when you go through a confusing times.
Hmm.
As a blessing. I don't, sometimes I feel that I don't have it. So, having that kind of a strength and somebody have that strength is always good. Life is short, as you said. So, talk
Hmm.
about a little bit the journey of life itself as a therapist. How do you present the journey of life? People are getting older, particularly when you are getting old and diseases are common. These are all things come.
Hmm.
How do you process this kind of a old age and the death?
Well, I don't mean to get, morbid, but death is a part of life. So it's about making the most of the time we have in this life. And honestly, the most powerful thing we can do is to love each other as much as we can and to support each other as much as we can while we're here, so that when the time comes for us to pass, we won't have regrets. You said that he was lucky to have me. I feel lucky to have him, have lucky to have all the people in my life that I love. I'm so grateful to love and to be loved.
I
It's one
don't
of the
mean to.
greatest
I'm not lucky.
blessings.
I'm not lucky. I have a great children. I just my celebrated my birthday of my daughter. I have
Oh, okay, good.
wonderful children, and my son is in Atlanta, and they're all settled, happy. That is more than a blessing to me. I cannot ask anything more in
Hmm.
life. My daughter got married, and all these
Oh,
things.
congratulations.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
so it is a blessing. You have to see the positive things instead of negative things in life, and just I keep going and looking for positive things.
Right. Well, one trick I teach my clients, because it's too easy to get caught up in all the negativity of the world, every day, find 5 things that you are happy about or grateful for. Try to find 5.
Write it
And
down.
the
Hmm.
Yes, write it down so that when the other stuff comes and it feels like all that's happening is negative stuff, if you could find at least 5 things every day, and you're allowed to repeat them each day, but at least try to find 5 each day to remind you that there is good mixed in with everything else.
Thank you so much, Christina. If Steve is there, if he cannot join, tell him my love for him. He's a great friend. He's
I
a true
will.
friend. We used to hang around so much together. Wish him a fast recovery, whatever he's going through.
I
Thank you
will.
so
I
much.
will.
Thank you for joining, all of you guys. Ramesh, thank you for joining. You need to come on cameras now. This is a podcast with a video. Thank you, Christina. I cannot
Thank
ask
you.
more than that. With this stressful situation, he came out. Eventually, you don't want to. Thank you so much. You're a
Oh,
treasure.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Ramesh. Good to hear you again.
Yeah. Uh, Ramesh, did you hear that? What she said?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm muted. Am I?
Yeah.
Now you're not.
You're not
My,
muted. We can hear you. Tell me.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. It was great to speak with you again, and I agree with the attitude of gratitude. I mean, definitely carrying that
hmm
the following weeks.
Yes, it really helps a lot. And definitely, when your dad gives you my info, please send me that about the society. I'd be very interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you all. Good night, everything. Thank you,
Good
Christina.
night.
Thank you, Ramesh.
Good
Joining
night,
it.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it